This interview brought to you by Nina McCarthy and Steel Thorn Entertainment.
Let's just go back a little for those that aren't very familiar with the band. It all started now with a session in Atlanta with Morgan Rose and Corey Lowry when you wanted to record a song to honor your mom. Can you just give a brief synopsis of how that song turned into the band and now an album?
Sure. You know, it was one of those weird things where at the time Morgan was doing a session in Baltimore and I was doing a session in Baltimore, totally separate, not related at all. But when I saw it, I'm like, hey, we should get together. And we did, but he was like, we need some more time and some more, like, why don't you come out to Atlanta? Like, oh, sure. I mean, you know, so, and Corey at the time had free time in a studio and everything. So we did that. That was his way of like trying to help me through a difficult time in my, you know, personal life. You know, having my mom, you know, go through ALS was, you know, brutal. And writing music about it definitely helped me, you know. So he thought it would be a cool thing to go out there, and we did. And like it was kind of magical. Like it just worked so well that we just like decided at one point to just like keep writing music together, you know, and recording it. So that's how the EP happened. And the first song is actually not on the EP, believe it or not. Like, yeah, it was one of those, but we'll release it eventually. But you know, the 5 songs you hear, actually the first song that started it, it's not on it. You know? Not for any other reason.
I was gonna say, how come it wasn't?
Well, everything just started changing. Like, for instance, Corey got the gig with Seether. And so, which, I mean, God bless him for that. That was awesome. So we didn't have him available anymore to record us. So we moved to Moline with Jose and started recording out there. So it's just who's available at what time. And the way this industry works, like we were just talking about how busy you are and everything, like, and when you think you're done with something, it's like, there's always something else happening. And there's so much to think about and plan out and everything, you know. Hell, we were just talking, Mike and I were just talking a little while ago, like about upcoming shows, like what are we doing about, you know, setups and load-ins and load-outs and stuff. There's just so much to consider, you know. So yeah, we only moved the project around because of necessity, like whatever and whoever was available at the time. And the pandemic was something that, you know, at least 2 years of weirdness for everybody, I feel, right? Like everything was just like kind of weird for at least 2 solid years. Like nobody knew what was going on. It was crazy times.
Yeah, I feel like we lost at least a year of my life. Like it's like, where'd it go? I did nothing, you know? But
yeah.
Now the album title, A Sympathetic Antipathy, is kind of an oxymoron. Can you just shed some light on how it came about and its relation to the theme of the album?
Well, I do have this love for existential philosophy. And for a short time in my early 20s, I studied like Kierkegaard and Nietzsche and Sartre and all that. And I knew I needed something like, or we needed something special, like to really like, you know, portray what the feelings, how deep we felt about the music and everything. I couldn't find a German word that was like shorter than 8 syllables. And then Kierkegaard is actually Danish. And then I remembered the book that I read a little bit of, you know, the concept of anxiety. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. Now, I totally expected Morgan and Imagine and my boys to turn down that title. But they were all like, "No, we dig it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I put it in real quick. I'm like, "Cool, you said okay."
That's right. Grab it quick.
So, but to me, I feel like it represents.
Sending that out, we already had like the font work on it, already like the LeNNE logo, and already kind of like drawn out. It was kind of like, all right, yeah, no, that's it. We're doing it. There it is.
You know, sometimes, you know, it's the weird things that just kind of stick. You know, where, like I said, we threw a couple like different ideas out, just 1-word titles, and nothing was sticking. And then it was like a sympathetic antipathy. Just, I don't know. I really liked it.
You know, name that nobody can say is the
we've had, I think actually the best the best pronunciation was from Jay Anderson from
The
Australia,
Australian. Oh yeah. Oh, it
because
was
he says it in such a beautiful way. Oh, I can't even. I'm not even gonna try the way he's got that awesome Australian twang going on,
Right.
and the way he says it. You know, it's like, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, like that's how it's supposed to be. Not. Yeah, it was crazy.
Not like
You
the
know?
way I said it.
Oh no,
Felt
you're
it like I had.
fine. You're fine. There's no. I mean, it's for me. It's actually one of those funny things that I know it's going to come up, and I enjoy it because I feel like, well, it makes for good conversation. You know, I mean, whatever.
So basically has no meaning to the theme of the album.
Well, you know, if there were certain lyrics that I did steal from existential phrases, you know, like the blind leap of faith and stuff, different, you know, the what matter where, if I be the same, all that kind of stuff, you know. So there is an existential feel to the album, but it's definitely not an existential like you know, you know, so yeah, it's not like, you know, a run in the park. That's it.
Now, besides Morgan Rose, tell me about the other familiar names featured on the EP.
Well, Corey Lowry is definitely, but then we do have Chris Caffrey too on No Amends, which is the Infinite Staircase song originally that we remastered. Morgan was actually the one that thought it was a good idea to incorporate, because he was like, the song is too good to not let more people listen to. So you know, and that song, it was written about a girl I used to know that, you know, passed away at 27 years old from, you know, some tragic events. So yeah, it's you know, it's one of those things that it's our way to get through this crazy life.
Right. And you ended the EP with that song. So that was kind of cool.
And these guys have like their work cut out for them, because I'm always pushing them to the limits. I expect them to do whatever I am at, and they do so well. Like, I don't know what it's like been for you, Mike, to you know, to become the guy that I rely on to
Nice to hear like somebody else's like writing style, and then get it, hear it, figure out how they did it, and then go, okay, well, how can I incorporate, like, I know, you know, maybe different tunings, maybe whatever. And it's like, I'm playing it. I'm not a cover band. I play it my style, my heaviness. So it's been fun. It's been like, I wouldn't even say challenging, like in a good way. It's just been like, all right, how can I make this sound still like that, but with my tone, my way, and have everybody just not go, that's not right. You know, when you hear,
we don't do that. No, we don't do that.
no,
Not at all. No.
It's like, you know, when you hear the CD, you see somebody play it live, you're like, that's not right. That's not it, because you know the song. So, but if you hit it and you make it better, bigger, bolder, it's like, oh, all right, there it is. There it is. Okay. So it's been fun. And I mean, the songs are incredible. I mean,
Well, we also, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure what half of these songs, like what key they're in even. That's why I rely on these guys, because the way we wrote them, and a lot of them Corey did write in like a drop C tuning, like, you know, and which I personally never really did. I was always like a standard tuning kind of guy. And then suddenly we're playing things that are just so heavy on the low end, you know, and Mike's got like this punk style too. Like he's got a punk background. So there's very little like chuggas actually when we play live. It's more like noise. I'm just messing with you, bro. I love it. No, he definitely plays it his way, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, we don't do that with anybody in the band. We don't like do that. Once in a while, Jim will be like, "That's the wrong note." Jim, once in a while, Jim's like, "No, that's a B." Oh wait, what about the time where he played the wrong note and he had to leave the room? Oh my god, hope he's not watching, because he'll probably have. But
the B.
I'm literally Ray was a B. I'm like, B, play B. And he literally had to leave. He walked outside and like screamed into the air. Like, ah! and we all laughed about it, but then hugged him because we love him. And I mean, we rely on him for a lot of the, you know, the feel, the ambience that we do live. He's behind a lot of that, to be perfectly honest.
And I think the ambience is so important because, you know, you can hear your emotional pain in the tracks, not only just the lyrics, but with the music. So it, you know, so the guys are right on with, you know, kind of your mood.
Well, thank you. It is one of those things where, like, back in the day, we used to play kind of happy sounding melodies with dark lyrics. And then I think Morgan really made the decision to stop that and instead go completely dark. Just go for the throat now. Just go for it. Yeah, I mean, he locked me in a room one time to write lyrics for a song. So he was like, do it for real. Like he's like, I mean, I'm not kidding, you know, like type of stuff. Like maybe that's why I'm so insane now, because he messed me up. Just kidding. I was already messed up. But yeah, it's one of those things though that, like, I mean, for me, it's so, I'd rather that than like professional therapy. I'd rather be locked in a room by Morgan Rose and be forced to write a song.
You could be in rooms with worse people, right?
Right? Yeah, totally. Like this guy at the bottom of the screen. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Now the album's been out for over a month now. What's been the response?
It's been incredible. It's, I don't know, I'm speechless with how good everybody has been like receiving it and very vocal about it. And yeah, I think it's incredible.
It's a good feeling when, you know, people actually do, you could tell they listened because of the feedback that you get. So, I mean, we don't, God, I repeat myself all the time, but one thing that I do say a lot is we don't make music to keep it a secret. We want people to listen. Like, that's the point. You know, it's not, you know, I want people to, and yeah, you got Spotify and stuff like that where you can basically listen to music for free, and we're okay with that. I mean, when those numbers go up for us, that just helps us too, you know? So it's the age we live in, and we have to find ways to adapt, you know? And hell, even these Zoom meetings are still, to me, I'm still like, man, this is crazy. Like 20 years ago, even, we weren't really doing it like this. This is still, you know, I mean, how, like, I just get an email and I could hit a link and suddenly I'm talking to people from wherever they are in the world. I mean, it's amazing.
This took a little getting used to for me as well, because I never used Skype. So during the pandemic, I'm like, I guess I have to resort to
You
this.
had to at that point. Yeah, we all had to. That was, and like I did one, what was it, just last week, Mike, right? Where I wore a mask because I had a blemish on my face. Yeah. So I'm like, if I go on Skype right now, all people are going to see is this blemish on my face. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they're going to be looking at.
But you did look weird though, so it was cool. Yeah.
Well, I turned it into, so, you know, I didn't want to miss out. I wanted to talk to the guys and everything, and you know, and you try to make the best of a situation. But God, I don't know how people do it, like the red carpet type of actors and actresses where the whole world is looking at them in like full, and I'm like, how do you, I was playing around with some of the filters before we got on. I'll be honest, I was playing with filters like I said, auto face.
Yeah, you can do lipstick on
yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, no, it's all right. You know, I was having a bad face day initially. It got a little better. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. You know,
me too. So that's the one thing I didn't like about these. I felt like I had to get all makeuped up, and I'm like, I'm home all day. What? I don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why when I do get like an audio only podcast, it is one of those like, oh, this shit's easy. I mean, I don't even have to be dressed. Like, for all you know, I'm butt ass naked, and it doesn't matter. You know? But I don't know.
Just don't get up.
That's good.
Now, talking about, you know, the emotional pain you can hear. Like, it's a hauntingly beautiful, sad journey, really, for this album, and, you know, through your head. But and Miracle, we know, was written about your mom's struggle with ALS. But can you give me a little insight into the song Plastic? I read the lyrics, but a little curious on what was going on in your head when you read the lyrics.
Oh, okay. Oh boy. So I don't want to.
Yeah. How do you
name anyone? So I'll just, okay. Let me try to put this. It was a Sunday night that I happened to be at at my bandmate's house, and there was a knock on the door, and it happened to be my bandmate's ex-girlfriend. And the reason why she was there was to take out the recycling because she thought he was going to forget. And he's like, she lives 45 minutes away. Like it wasn't like she just happened to be in the neighborhood. So without getting into plastic, because I'm literally sitting at the dining room table seeing this transaction happen, and I'm writing lyrics.
Because the lyrics started forming in your head.
I'm literally, and then afterwards I texted it to him, and he was like, perfect. So I won't, and God forbid if this person is listening, she knows who she is. but we're cool, actually. That's the funny thing, is we're, everybody's cool. But yeah, it was one of those nights. That's why all that lasted was plastic. Because she came
I
out
have to go back and read the lyrics, because on your Facebook page, I saw you do the lyrics to the song.
Yeah, you can find it on the Facebook or Instagram. I posted all the lyrics. That song was extra fun though, just because like I said, it was a real time writing experience. I'm literally sitting there like writing what I'm seeing from two people that used to care a lot about each other and can't stand each other anymore. And it was just a weird, one of those. My dog just showed up out of nowhere. I heard heavy breathing behind. I was like, oh God, is it my ex-girlfriend too? But yeah, so plastic. But it also, the funny thing is, the way Morgan and I decided to write it lyrically was, it's the sinner that's found in me too. It wasn't just her fault. I'm a piece of interesting work too. So it's never one like, do we want to talk about Johnny Depp and Amber? I don't know. Let's not, actually.
No, I've tried to avoid that.
Oh God, it's so weird, the world we live in. Like, stuff like that is,
Yeah, that's on TV.
It's
insane.
It's so crazy. Whatever. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm saying it's just crazy to see, like, you see the kind of stuff go on. It's like, wow. I don't know. And it can't be bad for, like, I know, like, a lot of people say, like, it hurt his reputation and stuff like that. Like, dude, you're the most famous person in the world right now. Like, and so many people are standing up for you. Like, this can't be bad for your career, actually.
Don't they say any publicity is good publicity?
Right. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? I don't know. Not that I have it. Hell, I'm not making light of, like, abusive relationships, but I have no idea who, and how can we know? It's a Hollywood show going on there. Who knows what actually? Who knows?
Right. His word against her word. So what are your plans for touring in support of the album?
Well, if it was Mike's way, we'd be on the road right now for the next 100 years.
Yeah, I saw a couple dates on your Facebook page. One show you guys are playing with Veer at Fishhead Cantina. I love those guys and that venue. I was looking, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Oh, that'd be cool. But yeah, I agree. I love that venue too.
Yeah. Well, I said, where else can you go? You can eat in a restaurant, you can eat at a sushi bar, and you can go outside and have live entertainment. It's the best.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I've been playing there with various projects for many years at this point.
Yeah, same thing.
And right, it's a cool place. Like, I was excited when that was booked. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a good time. I have a lot of good friends in Baltimore, so I'm looking forward to that. Wish you were gonna be there though.
I was just down at M3 actually.
Oh yeah.
But was that I just got home a week ago, but 2 years ago I think it was, because I didn't go last year, when they had the year before COVID anyway, they had the pre-party at Fishhead. So
that's always fun.
That's when I experienced it. So I just saw the couple dates. Are you guys going to try to do like an East Coast tour or anything else, or?
We're trying. It's still, yeah, things are still not super easy to get on stuff with the code. So like a lot of tours that are booked, they don't want to touch anything. They want to just let it and see what happens, and don't want people canceling and this. So it's actually still a little difficult to get on these shows.
Right.
because it's like a gamble still for promoters and stuff like that, you know. And we did a 2-week run in November, December that wasn't super successful in terms of like money and stuff
Right.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the other
Not to
issue
put-
right
yeah,
now.
I mean, look,
With
it's just
gas and everything else.
exactly. You know, so it's just
Well, and they're catching up from the last 2 years of being off. So anybody that was booked, they're trying to cram them in. Plus, you got bands trying to do so. It's kind of it's a pain in the ass right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm running into is I'm trying to book a show and then you have all these rescheduled events happening on the same weekend. And it's really hard to get people out or a lot of people in one place because they're spread out to all these different events.
oh yeah. And you know, I went to a show the other night in Reading, PA, and it was $30 to get in, and I was like, whoa. I mean, $30 to me is like for a bar show. I mean, good bands. I'm not putting down the bands that they were awesome. It was a great show, and the sound system was awesome.
But it was
like,
local bands?
It was mostly local bands. It was one international band and then all locals. But yeah, that's kind of hard on the pocket, especially when you're traveling and paying for gas and everything like that. Right. But I have no problem supporting it. So you want to support because you want the same thing in return. And that's what's hard too. Not hard, but what you got to try to be like supportive of each other. You know, it's not a competition as far as bands, you know, go. It's a support system. You got to help each other out and show up to the shows. And I mean, I had a great night, but I was like, man,
I kind of had a similar experience. I just had a show and it was $22. I mean, it was cheaper in advance, but if you bought at the door, it's $22. It was only 2 bands, but one was a Chris Cornell tribute band. Covered all's work. So they played for 2 hours. Oh, wow. And then there was an opener and somebody complained about ticket prices. And I'm like, yeah, but people will go to a movie and drop $15. So, you know, 22 for a good show, really, with a tribute band who always asks for a lot of money that, you know, wasn't too, I thought it was.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Reasonable, but 30 is pushing it. 30, I'd be kind of like,
Well, because I also wasn't expecting. I actually was like thinking it was gonna be like a $10 or $15 thing, and then of course I bring out my debit card and they're like, oh, cash only. I'm like, I'm like, where's the ATM? Oh, I didn't have an ATM there.
Oh so no! See, we have one right next to the door.
And I'm like, come on, at least have an ATM. Even if they're gonna charge me $5 for the fee, you know, like have one ready if it's a cash bar, you know. But
then we just spent 2 years getting rid of cash because it's dirty, it's whatever.
Exactly.
Right. That is a good point.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But you know, you bring up something interesting though. The whole so every so often I'll buy, say, a movie from iTunes for $15, say, right? I'm like, well, if I went to the movies, it cost me at least $40 just to get in the door and buy popcorn and stuff. So for me to download a movie for $15, I'm like, well, it's actually not and I'm in the comfort of my home and I could smoke my weed and drink my booze. You can
watch it more than once.
And I can keep exactly. So yeah, it's one of those things when you put things into perspective and think about it. But that's also why when I think about, you know, how much money you spend at the bar on beer, and you're like, man, I could get a 6-pack for the price of the one drink.
Exactly.
You know, but that's also par for the course. I mean, that's how the industry works.
Right. And on the other side of things, you know, seeing from the venue side too, you know, their rent's going up, the price of alcohol, everything has just skyrocketed. So really it just has to go up for everybody to make ends meet and, you know, keep giving quality entertainment.
Sure. I mean, supply and demand too. Like, I guess right now there's shortages of so many different weird things, like baby formula right now is it's like, what is going on here? Why is there a shortage of baby formula?
Somebody could make some bank now if they sell their breast milk. They are.
I like how you think. I like how you think.
But people are donating. So, well, now that the album's been released, are you hard at work on the next one?
I'm excited to record the new stuff now, because now that, like, we already did the trial run where we all spent 2 weeks in an RV together and didn't kill each other. So that's a good thing, you know.
So now you know you can do a little tour.
Yeah, now we know, like, okay, we could actually put up with each other's asses. So that's cool, you know. And we've been writing stuff. We have new stuff when we play live. Like we have a couple of things that aren't recorded yet. And that's where I want to go in that direction of get the new stuff with these guys on and just keep going forward. I mean, there's no stopping in this industry. You have to keep moving and making,
Exactly.
unless you're lucky enough to, you know, sell a #1, which I don't even know how that happens anymore. Oh, most of the stuff in like the top 10, I don't even know. Like I teach some younger kids guitar lessons and they pull out artists that I'm like, who's this? And I pull it up on YouTube and it'd be like 20 million views, but I never heard of them.
That's like when I watch the award shows these days. I'm like, I don't know who any of these bands are.
Exactly. You see the
And I keep up
advertisement
on
of
it.
like they're announcing this one and that one and that one. You're like,
Yeah.
never heard.
Exactly.
It's crazy. That's the
But a
world we
lot of
live
it's
in.
pop. I think that's why, you know, more so.
I mean, that's an interesting, you know, definitely take where it's like, well, there is a difference between the pop world and the, you know, other side of the darker, let's call it the
Right.
darker side of music, you know. But it's interesting, and you know, honestly, it does force artists to kind of be creative, extra creative,
Right.
you know, and work a little extra hard. But it's what we do.
Right. Well, I appreciate your time and I'd love to see you live. I actually wanted to tell you about something off camera that won't be in this when I shut off the recording that you made me think
gotcha.
of. But I would love to catch you guys live. Like I said, I already looked at that show with Veer, but I think it's coming up at the end of this month. And I think I have something
I'm pretty
conflicted.
sure it's like a holiday weekend too, where driving is probably gonna suck.
Exactly.
So I mean, not
Plus,
that
I'm going to be going down in July to the BLE Masquerade
oh
show
no,
down
cool.
in Pennsylvania.
Cool.
I'll be going down to that. So I planned a lot of, since I had my back surgery, I'm able to do more. So I've been going everywhere.
You're
catching up on the
feeling all right
music.
with that though? You feeling
Yeah, it's
good?
been about a year and I get about 70% improvement in my pain.
Good. Well, I mean,
So-
I mean, it sucks having pain. So
My
Good to
pain
hear.
level's like an average of 3 now, which is tolerable. I was like 6, 7, 8 every day.
every day, I hear
I
you.
can't complain now.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know, some people don't know what it's like to learn to live with pain. So
Right.
for a person like you saying a 3, for the average person was probably an 8.
Right. And people
Yeah.
are like, you're always so upbeat. I said, well, you don't see me at home alone when I'm in
You don't see when I'm
Chronic
crying with an ice pack on and
right. Like I said, I'm here with my eating pad now. That's how I live.
Right.
But you know, music makes me forget. I don't think about my pain. I'm concentrating on music, other people's art, and you know, the enjoyment and sharing it with others. So that's what
Rock
I
and
like
roll.
to do.
That's awesome. That's what it's there for, right?
Exactly. Well, it was great catching up with you guys.
You as well.
I said I'll catch you sometime. I mean, we can catch
We'll
up
catch
again when
each
you get
other.
new music. And sorry I had to cancel last time. I kind of had an emergency
It's okay. And
situation, but
just glad to talk to you now.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Jim, I'm surprised he's not here because he was the one that said, "Oh, we love Nine. I want to do another interview." But
I spoke to him earlier. He had a lot of stuff going on today and wasn't feeling so hot.
yeah, well, tell him I said hello, and we'll catch up again. And hopefully, like I said last time, you know, you guys seem fun. I said I watched our last interview, and I said, "Oh, I told you, it looks like we could all get in a lot of trouble together." So,
You don't know they have it. Oh, man.
so
Totally.
hopefully someday we'll do that.
I hope so.